Hello everyone, welcome to Fuse Room. Tomorrow is going to be June 21st, 2024, and it's my 12th wedding anniversary. Now in June this year, I'm making 14 years that I have worked with a major audio company. Today, I've been told I'm being laid off in favor of artificial intelligence. Let's go. Or not. No, let's go. All right, so this is gonna be quite a different video. I don't know if I should be standing, if I should be having a little bit of a tie or bring my CV or anything, but it's interesting. It's gonna be interesting. So it happened today over a WhatsApp call, very interestingly, and this is a company that my wife and I have been working with for, as I said, now 14 years, okay? So what can I say about that? Well, the both of us are invested in this company. It's a considerable amount of revenue and work that we've been doing every month. Not only that, but my wife alone, and then I obviously as a freelancer serve as these persons like my wife, liaison as it, have 8 people at the moment, 8 to 10 people as freelancers on their own that are working for us. So we work as freelancers for this company. We've been working with it for, as I said, 14 years. And as freelancers do work 8 to 10 people. In the years, I think we've been working with or providing work to do to probably a good 25 to 30 people. But at present time, when the news came, there is 8 to 10 regular professionals that work with my wife. Now, my wife has a translation agency. She's an interpreter and translator, and this is an audio company. Now, I don't want to name names. It's just not specific. There's no need for it. But we've been working in it together. So it's 2 birds with 1 stone. And it's a pretty big stone, and it just hits the both of us. So it's at the same time not something I have been doing alone. It's considerable amount of work that my wife has been doing as well. So it's just the both of us plus the 8 people working for us are being laid off. Why is that? Well, the tasks that we provided this company with for now, as I said, 13, 14 years, are being replaced by products done by artificial intelligence, so-called AI, right? So the management is cutting down on expenses. They have not been doing very well in the past, I would say probably 4 years. And the numbers are shrinking. The amount of revenue that they're getting has lowered just because the interest for people to just do music in general, producing, learning, buying gear has drastically reduced since the pandemic. Mostly that's what happened. So in an attempt to obviously limit the bleeding of expenses versus what revenue you're making, they are cutting out on a lot of stuff. And a lot of these stuff is going to be made by AI, and a lot of this stuff was being made by us before, and us 10 people, whatever you want to call it, right? So this is huge. This is huge. For sure, I was kind of expecting that. I've been reading that for a very long time. I had colleagues and friends. This cannot just be considered like something that you're gonna be doing completely like out of the blue and living with it. But it still is kind of considerable, and it makes you think. We don't have kids. I don't have kids. My wife doesn't have kids that I know of. We don't have them. And this kind of reassures me just because of the impact I'm kind of foreseeing that this would have with them. Now, it's obviously, what do you want to say? Like, you haven't planned for it. Do you have a plan B? You don't have a plan B. You have a plan C, D, whatever. Can you just recollect from something else? It can easily boil down to saying, oh, you weren't prepared. You haven't done that stuff. You should have played on more just tiles, put your feet on different tiles so that you're more stable. Well, this stuff takes a lot of time to do. So it's not just being able to see something and say, well, who cares? I've been doing so many things. When you're doing something, and you dedicate that craft to doing it the right way as you requested to do, well, you don't just go doing 300,000 different tests to get a second plan or a third plan, you're pretty invested in it and you do that. Doesn't mean to say that we don't have any, that this was all we were doing, but it still is considerable. And some of the people that we have under us, they're actually much more of a considerable, in a much more considerable amount of loss that we are, just because they're younger, they've been traveling and making planned expenses on also the revenues for work that we've been doing. And then we go into the freelancing thing, like, okay, well, you knew that because you're a freelancer. You should have done a provisioning contract, you should have done all that, the law can protect you. Honestly, that doesn't quite work. First off, we've become, and these people have become, for us, family. I mean, after 14 years of dedicated work, this is just changing how you feel. This is not just a ticket you just, stamp every day. It's just your family to these people, and so are they. So it doesn't quite work. And second of all, companies will not really be okay with provisioning contracts all of a sudden, or from the get-go say like, okay, I do this, but I want to be warranted that I'm going to do this for 20 years, for 30 years. It doesn't work like that. Some people have been stopping or pausing their jobs for a lot of different reasons way earlier than we've been doing. So it's kind of fascinating that these worked for 14 years, right? It's like, what? This is insane, 14 years, but that happened. So it's gonna pay a toll more for the principle of it, which can resonate into many other fields. Now, if this company is into music production, people buy less instruments, buy less software, invest a lot less money than they used to in the old years. Also, knowledge is everywhere, content is everywhere, everything is social. And they have been actually, like the industry's been using interns for the longest time. You try and get somebody young or somebody from a third world country, and it's a sad truth, but that's what they have been doing a lot. So we had been losing work in favor of people living in less expensive countries, because the rates at which these people could work were better and more competitive than what we could offer, So this had already happened. A lot of the tasks we had been doing had moved to other people in, as I said, countries that are less expensive, not the least expensive, but less expensive. And so this had already happened, but now everybody is just not as cheap and inexpensive as AI. And so they're making this move. Maybe it's questionable, maybe it's not questionable. Maybe this will backfire somehow and show that you can't really do it with artificial intelligence. What do you think? Maybe, right? Has it happened to you? Has it already been a case of companies hiring you back or calling you back for work because the quality of the AI wasn't that, valid, very high, or consistent in a way that they could live with AI? Or maybe your job changed because the AI required you to do a different thing that maybe makes you more money than you were doing before. I don't know. You can let me know in the comments. And for sure, this has happened to a lot of people. And there's a certain combination right now that I think, it's my personal opinion, but I see that as a very dangerous thing. So companies have no money any longer. They project an image of success, but because that's what marketing wants you to do. But unfortunately, we all, I'm not pointing any finger at anybody, we all have been losing money from the pandemic, from technology being accessible to everyone. All the good things that we had in the last 10, 15 years became a little bit of a bad thing as well, because we got access to a lot of stuff, but nobody really wanted to invest as much as the access we had, right? The two things just don't match. I remember when I was young, and most of you probably will remember that as well, but in my case, I didn't have the sheer amount of information about playing piano and keyboards that I have available right now, that you have available right now, right? I didn't have that. Why are people incapable of finding the middle C now in comparison to me after all these years developing different technology and progress and things that I couldn't reach back then? You know, this is interesting. It's an open question. You know kind of the answer. To think that I had to get my father to drive me to my piano teacher. This would be me physically moving to get to somebody's house, and my father actually accompanying me with his car to the piano lesson. Going home, coming back 1 hour and a half or 2 hours later, taking me back home into traffic and all that stuff. If you think about it, maybe being sarcastic, but that was kind of so vintage and useless, right? There's two people, like there's one person losing 2 hours, 3 hours of their lives to move somebody to some other place. And this guy, which is me, this kid needed to get somebody's in person to, you can do everything online today, right? And there's as many teachers as you want, maybe a ton better than my instructors were. No offense to them if they're watching this video, they are amazing, they were amazing, but you know, you have like a roster of world-class people, right? Why don't you play piano better than I do after all the years that I've been wasting my time on such useless methods? You have a much better approach. A lot of the people that I'm still teaching to have huge issues compared to the issues I had when I was learning that with such limited methods. This is probably telling us, or me, at least it's telling me, I don't know what is this telling you? It's telling us that the access, and then we've been saying these and reading these a lot, the sheer amount of access, the improved access to resources doesn't make you use those resources in a more valuable or productive way. It just means you theoretically had more access. And I think the shadow of these added access have put people under tremendous pressure, you know, because what I was doing was, yes, I had my superheroes in music, and I couldn't know what kind of patch they were playing, what kind of piano brand they're playing, what kind of voicing on a jazz piano song they were playing. I had to kind of take a CD, and there were no MP3s back then. Or when I was like at the first years, it was cassette and then CDs. And then the CD was amazing because it was super precise, but you had to rewind and do all that. And then you can do it with the computer and cut it and hear the voicing and try and get it, ask your teachers. Just now you have everything way down, you know, and laid up and just there. And still, people are like probably not even that much interested in music. I know you are. If you're watching these, I know you are. And you know people who are. But as a quantity thing, it's just so much lower. So these companies getting poorer from a cultural kind of standpoint and from an ethical standpoint, what you see now is an instrument to cut on losses, which is AI. Now, what I think will happen, what I fear will happen, I don't know what you think, again, let me know what you've been thinking about this topic, is that we are going to see that people use AI to cut on losses, and they're not really going to get any benefit from it because they're going to get their newsletters done by AI. No more interns, no more underpaid or overpaid people. You don't know. Maybe there's companies that are overpaying us, and that's okay, you know. So sometimes mistakes happen both ways, right? But you don't use anybody any longer because everything is doing automated. You publish something on the internet or you release a new product, and these products get advertised, and everything is getting done automatically. Fantastic. Now, you are not the only company doing this, right? Because you're a company who's in 2024 facing issues. Well, that's a kind of a common pattern, right? There's a lot of companies in that area. So what you do, especially also seeing your competitors doing that, is you jump on that boat. So what you do is you use AI again, like the other competitor, to do that. And you fire more people, you lay off more people. right? Because you're now using AI, and AI is not free. AI has kind of high maintenance costs because they have to be their servers, their supercomputers somewhere using, producing CO2, and, they're there. It's not as huge as maybe crypto mining, but it's a huge thing, and it will require more and more computers because more and more companies will use AI, right? So the electricity costs obviously are going to go high, maybe air conditioning, maybe all that. But what happens is you're laying off more and more people, and all of these people are there, right, on the street, or trying to do maybe, which I think you will probably chime in that way, trying to do something more human, right? However, if this company doesn't have the money to pay that human factor, you can either do it for free, which isn't really something you should do anyway, anywhere, anyhow, or you're going to be told, we can't pay you. That's why we're using AI. And where is it human enough, and where is AI capable of doing it quite human, right? So this angle is really dangerous, because then the competitors using AI will force you to use AI, but then everything will level down to a point where I'm not still talking about content, like the production methodologies are gonna play a step down game, and it's gonna be down and down and lower and lower and lower and lower, without actually a lot of human people. If anything, the people who have been laid off could say, well, I should become the one person company that will make use of AI to do something. So right now, you might have had a company with 20 people, and you will have a company with one person in AI, and then the other 19 will become either unemployed, either doing things AI cannot do, for example, cleaning toilets. That's something AI cannot yet do. Can it do it? Ha ha ha! I found something you can't do. I can clean a shitty toilet much better than AI. Show me how can you do it. Can you even swirl that way? I can take the tiniest spots off. Even the hardest of stains I take out. How you do that? So anyway, let me know if there's any kind of job you think you could end up doing because AI can't do that. But this said, the other 19 people might say, I don't want to do that stuff AI can't do. I want to do the stuff I've been trained to do and I've been learning to do. All right. So what I can't do is I will make my own company if I can, and I will use AI. So now the company that had 10 competitors or 20 competitors and 20 employees or people working with them will have 20 competitors plus 19 plus all of the other employees of other companies that have been laid off, and will use AI because AI is the thing and everybody has to do it, otherwise you don't work. Plus there's gonna be people selling their products as man-made, but actually using AI in the background because they want to cut costs themselves. As a freelancer, you have the same issues, and you could save money just exactly like the company did by using AI. So question to you is AI gonna use AI to cut costs on humans? Maybe, maybe. Because one day AI says like, well, I am AI and they're using AI. I'm gonna use AI to calculate what the CEO should do with me. I am me and also the CEO and all the other people. I'm doing newsletters, I'm doing video content, I'm doing social media, product publishing, translations, localization, everything. I could manage myself. Now, we're not into Skynet era, right? That's what people say. Is it Skynet time? Are we there yet? No, not yet. We're not there yet. But it's dangerous, And what I've been talking about is just from here, from the center, so the product, to the makers of the product, okay? Now, there's another very dangerous side, which is the other 50%. The product in the center, and then the customers, the users, the audience of such product, all right? Now, because everything is being generated this way, are there gonna be valuable amounts or quantities of people who recognize that human contact is important? Is somebody like me who's doing a Patreon with you and doing things in a very the most personal way that we can do online, for sure, do you think I'm gonna get more patrons because of the quantity of AI being used everywhere? Are people gonna get more motivated by the fact that everything you do, even in learning, is just generated by AI? Are you okay with studying piano with courses that have been built by AI, with tests that are being corrected by AI, with cameras pointing at your body in which AI can analyze if your posture as a piano player is okay? Are you, straining your elbows? Are you winging out? Are you just twisting your wrist the wrong way? Are you putting weight from your shoulders to the keyboard? Are you bending the final tip of your fingertip in a dangerous way that shouldn't do? Are you, exerting, that's the word I was looking for. Are you exerting the required strength and energy distribution to the keypad of the piano in a way to maximize expressiveness? AI can do that, just point a lot of cameras at you and it will do it. Or, we just wing it because the company that can analyze that and offers you a course that can analyze that using 15 cameras costs way more because the AI has to calculate more stuff. So maybe you can learn piano with an average or low profile company that allows you to use your webcam to do that. Or you know what? You can use your phone camera to point it at you and your crotch, and the AI will tell you if you're having a right posture for playing piano. Or you know what? I have a better idea. How about we'll lose interest in playing that shitty, crappy keyboard instrument that is piano or guitar or drums? Doesn't matter, right? Because ultimately, why do you play drums? To play in a band? What are bands? Bands don't exist anymore, right? Or maybe they do for you. Maybe you're one of those because you're watching this. So I don't know. You're playing in a band? Are you doing it for money? Are you doing it for money? No, nobody's been doing it for money. But what if you're playing in a band because you want to make songs? Well, you can tell the AI what you want. They'll make it. Are you writing lyrics? Yeah, lyrics can be made by AI. Are you maybe working with a company that needs music? Why would you want to compose music for a company where AI can actually be used and employed to make patterns of music just by ideas? If all of your users are copying illegally or pirating the software that you're selling, why invest in the software in the first place, right? Can be a crappy piece of software. It doesn't matter if you make a piece of some gold coins. It's okay. Otherwise, that's not. So if there's a cheaper version to do it, it's okay. Is it really gonna matter to be playing stuff if nobody's listening to your music? If it's auto-generated, can you tell the difference? Well, you can tell the difference if you educate your ears. But guess what? Educating your ears requires time, effort. Do you really want to spend your time doing that? Isn't that easier to just go, ranch at some RC car, which I love to do, or maybe, play football, which I'm not that good, but I like to do that as well, volleyball as well, all right? So hiking, lovely. Just doing nothing, petting your cat, dog, whatever animal you have, absolutely. But are you evolving? No, but Alberto, we don't care. Do you care? I think you care because you are watching this video. So what do you think? What do you think? Is this gonna be a further step down into a worse world? Because we can say, the people who don't want you don't are not worth of you. Don't worry, your content is amazing and you'll be doing great and all that, which I understand comes from a very honest standpoint that a lot of you after this video probably will start doing and recognizing things. But is it really gonna get better? You know, am I really gonna get more people recognizing that we're doing things humanly, you know, or are people just gonna get, I don't know, upset over plugins or over whose mix is better, or is anybody even interested in that? AI can tell you which mix is better. Are we doing it for fun? Is it better to just have fun with it? Is it better to just maybe be badass and say, you have to study this because I am an old teacher? But can AI do that as well and be a little bit more permissive and tailor the behavior of the teacher on your own needs? We don't know. So it's certainly a spiraling down trend. To me, that is the case. And unfortunately, with the war everywhere, with war raging everywhere, with what we had after the pandemic, it's very hard to get human contact back. So once you do something very high quality and you talk to people, you really get down to the business of saying, look, you want to do that. You want to make a real song and you are having difficulties. I can help you out. But because a kilo or a pound of apples costs this and that, I can do it for this and that amount of money. How much are you really going to be honest with yourself? Look at yourself in the mirror. Which is like, this could be a mirror because we're kind of similar, right? I don't know who you are, but I have a good idea. Are you really gonna invest? How much? How much? I have 4 tiers right now, for example, in my Patreon, if you're watching this through Patreon. And there's a very expensive tier for, you look at it, it's like, wow, that's expensive. Is that expensive? To some people, it isn't. Some people are paying that every month and they have huge benefits. And they say, I'm having more benefits and a higher degree of improvement over other things that costed me way more. But then there's kind of an in-between situation, and then there's like a basic sort of tier to get in. Those of you who are like at the lower level, would you invest in more? Like, why haven't you? Are you okay with the tier in which you are? Why are you okay? Do you like the music where it is? Do you prefer to invest that in buying tools? How much money are you paying on educating yourself on top of, me, my whatever I'm doing with you and other stuff? And how much are you using your money to just have fun with it? Buying new plugins, new hardware, selling it, just watching videos of people presenting products. How much are you into suffering a little bit to do music? Is it something you do to let the steam off from a day of work? Is it something you do in contrast to being a father or a mother or both or none? Or, you're having a heavy or a burden, requirement for you. I don't know, your family maybe takes a lot of time away from you, your parents, whatever, like attending on them if they're old, or kids, whatever. Is music something that you don't want to feel pain for, in the sense of the effort, right? So do you wanna get a very nice body without doing crunches? And are you at the gym just to talk and do mild exercises to let a lot of the energy out and sleep well at night? It's perfectly fine. Just, who are you? Let me know that, because I'm kind of interested. Or are you pushing yourself? Are you pushing yourself to become better? Be honest with yourself. Are you really getting better? Are you thinking you're getting better, but you're just watching influencers demonstrate plugins? What are you doing? Is AI maybe better for you? For real? Like, could it be better? Do you, I don't know. That's interesting, because I've had a lot of people ask me for content, and then I can use analytics and track it and these people haven't watched the videos I've done. So I'm like, why would you request a video on a topic and then not watch it? Something must be wrong with the analytics. Maybe it is. Maybe AI has made a mistake in this case, and so has butchered the results. I don't know, botched up the results, right? We don't know. We never know. But this is an important step. This is something that happened today that I wanted to share with you. And as usual, we'll keep going. We'll keep doing things. Let me know what you think. This is hopefully a very important topic that, for this exact reason, I put into this frame of a camera of a real person talking for real. This was not done with AI. Ciao. I would like to spend 2 words on why this video is possible. It happens because of my patrons. I have a Patreon in which I teach songwriting, scoring for video games and writing soundtracks, being creative, exploring hardware synthesizers, analog outboard, virtual instruments, sample libraries, mixing and mastering. We talk about recording. There's a lot of cool people in there. Check my Patreon out if you would like to support me. It really means a lot to me, and it makes these videos and the future ones possible. So thank you very much.